Her hand was shaking so hard the pen almost slipped. $10 million. All her mother's medical debt gone in one signature. All she had to do was hand over her body, her time, her entire life for 1 year. "Sign it," the billionaire growled, voice like velvet over steel. "Or walk out that door and watch everything you love burn." Ava Reynolds stared at the contract titled Exclusive Companion Agreement, Non-Negotiable. She signed, and 10 seconds later she realized she had just made the biggest mistake of her life, because she had no idea what Damien Voss would do first. 3 weeks earlier, Ava was just another broke 24-year-old fighting New York like it owed her money. Double shifts at a midtown diner, 4 hours of sleep, $127,000 in hospital bills her mom left behind after the cancer one. Rent due, eviction notice taped to the door, one bad tip away from sleeping on the subway. That night, the catering company called her for an emergency gig at the Voss Tower penthouse. Black tie, 10 grand a plate. She was only there to refill champagne flutes. Then he walked in. Damien Voss, 36, self-made tech god, 6'3", razor cheekbones, eyes the color of frozen oceans. Ava tried to stay invisible until she tripped. A full tray of Dom Perignon exploded across his $1,000 shoes. The entire room went dead silent. She waited for the screaming. Instead, Damien looked down at her like she was the most interesting thing he'd seen all year. "You're either the clumsiest woman alive," he said, low enough that only she could hear, "or the only one brave enough to make me pay attention." He didn't call security. He pressed a black American Express card into her palm and ordered, "Clean up, then meet me on the balcony in 10 minutes. 10 minutes later, 30 floors above Manhattan, wind whipping her cheap uniform, Damien leaned against the railing like he owned the sky itself. "I ran your name the second the champagne hit my shoes," he said. "You're drowning in debt. I have a proposal." He slid the thick black folder across the marble. 12 months. You live with me. You follow my rules. You belong to my schedule and my decisions. In return, I wipe out every cent of your debt, pay you $2 million cash the day the year ends, and you never see another eviction notice again. Ava laughed in disbelief. "This is a joke, right?" Damien's face didn't move. "I don't joke about contracts, Ava. Read every clause. Complete relocation to his Hamptons estate. No outside contact without approval. Full availability 24/7. Obedience to all rules. Safe word allowed. 3 strikes and the deal ends with 0 payout. Absolute non-disclosure agreement. No emotional attachment permitted. This is a transaction. Feelings will be punished." Ava's mouth went dry. "You want me to be your property?" "I want you to be mine," he corrected, stepping so close she could smell his cologne. 1 year. After that, you walk away richer than you ever dreamed. Most women would kill for this deal. Are you most women? She thought of her mom's empty hospital bed, the eviction notice, the way her body already reacted every time he looked at her. She picked up the pen. The next morning, a black Maybach took her to the Hamptons. 2 hours later, she stood inside a glass and steel palace overlooking the ocean. The housekeeper handed her a tablet. "Mr. Voss's rules are non-negotiable. Read them before he returns tonight. Rule 1. You wear only what I choose. Rule 2. You sleep in my bed unless I say otherwise. Rule 3. When I say get down, you get down. No hesitation. Rule 4. You follow my rules completely. Ava told herself it was just the money. But when Damien walked through the door that night, suit jacket slung over one shoulder, eyes dark with hunger, she realized the contract wasn't the dangerous part. He was. He crooked a finger. She walked over. Get down, Ava. Her pride screamed no. Her body obeyed anyway. He tilted her chin up. Good girl. Lesson 1 starts now. What happened next left her breathless and trembling. When it was over, he whispered against her ear. Remember the clause, little rebel. No feelings. But feelings were already cracking the steel around her heart. The days blurred into a haze of luxury most people only dream about. Private chefs, designer everything, a driver on call 24/7. At first it felt like a dangerous game, until one night he pushed her limits further than ever before. And that's when she realized she was starting to lose control. Public events became their new battlefield. She smiled like the perfect trophy, while his hand stayed possessively on her lower back. One night at a charity gala, he pulled her into a private bathroom, locked the door, and everything that happened next left her gasping his name, while New York's richest drank champagne 10 feet away. Mine, he growled. Say it. I'm yours, she whispered, hating how true it felt. Then came the night that shattered everything. Ava couldn't sleep. She slipped into his study and opened his laptop. One hidden folder. One name she recognized immediately. The pharmaceutical company that had denied her mother the experimental treatment that might have saved her life. Damien's company had bought them out 10 years ago, and he had personally signed off on cutting the program to save costs for a bigger merger. He hadn't just known who she was. He had chosen profit over her mother's life. She waited in the kitchen at 2 a.m., shaking with rage. When Damien walked in, she held up the printed documents. You knew, she whispered, voice breaking. You knew exactly who I was before I ever signed. You let my mother die for a spreadsheet. Damien's face went stone cold. The contract forbids questions about my past. Forget the contract, she screamed. You used me. You picked me because of her. He grabbed her wrists, pinned her to the fridge. And that's when she realized this wasn't a game anymore. I didn't know until after you signed, he said, eyes blazing. But yes, I made that call 10 years ago, and now you're here anyway. Walk away and you get nothing. Stay, and maybe I'll tell you the rest. That was the moment everything changed. Instead of running, Ava kissed him like she wanted to destroy him. And he kissed her back like he was breaking every rule he'd ever written. From that night, the power struggle became their new obsession. She tested him. He pushed back harder. But slowly, the ice in his eyes melted. He left her coffee exactly how she liked it. He canceled board meetings just to watch her swim. He even said, please. Then the real storm hit. A rival leaked photos of Ava to the press. Mystery woman in Voss's private life. Reporters at the gate. The board threatened to vote him out unless he ended the distraction. The morality clause meant if the arrangement became public, she got nothing. Damien handed her the original contract and a lighter. Burn it, he said. Take the money I've already paid on your debt. Walk away clean. If you stay, you lose everything. The money, the deal, everything. Ava looked at the papers, then at the man who had ruined her life and saved it at the same time. She did the one thing he never expected. She tore the contract in half right in front of him. Then she took a napkin from the counter, grabbed a pen, and wrote a new agreement while they were both still half dressed and breathing hard. New agreement. One lifetime. No more rules. No more hiding. No more no feelings. And from this day forward, you belong to me. Damien stared at the napkin for 10 full seconds. Ava stepped forward, took his tie in her fist, and pulled him down until their foreheads touched. "Now you follow my rules," she whispered. "Say it." For the first time in his life, the ruthless billionaire smiled like he'd finally lost control and loved every second of it. "I'm yours, Ava Reynolds. Contract or no contract." 6 months later, the press still calls her the waitress who tamed the beast. But only they know the truth. She didn't tame him. She took him. And every night in that glass mansion by the sea, Damien Voss, the man who once owned the world, drops to his knees for the only woman who ever made him break all his rules. So tell me in the comments, if a billionaire handed you a forbidden contract worth millions, would you have signed it?